Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday and we are going to use the chair today. So make sure you grab a chair, a couple of light dumbbells, maybe a block or two, and especially a block unless you have the beloved Pilates Ring of Torture, which we're going to throw in. But I'll show you ways that you can use the block just like the Ring of Torture so you can still do this exercise program. Today we're going to do the basics of how a chair can help advance our workouts but still keep it basic enough for balance and stability and alignment, which is always one of our key components when we're talking about building an exercise plan. So we're actually going to start with our hands on the chair. You're going to have your feet lined up under your hips and your hands directly over the shoulders, hands below the shoulders. And we're going to do some standing cat dog tilt. So we just inhale, we drop the belly, we bend the knees gently and look up. We exhale, we round, tuck, and curl, pulling the belly deep within. Now you're going to do that 4 or 5 times. And what we're doing is just waking up the spine, okay? So again, just going through the motion of really checking in with all the little intervertebral discs of the spine. Okay, we can do some lateral cat dog chasing tail, just some organic movement to make sure everything is starting to wake up. Then what we're going to do is a standing spinal balance. So we're going to lift opposite arm, opposite leg, bicep to ear, and then keep this back hip dialed down. So we don't want to pop the hip up just to lift the leg higher. Your leg might have to be all the way down here to keep those hips square, but that's what's the most important here. And then just long line of energy, wrap that tummy up and in, and lengthen out from fingertip to back heel. You guys, you'll take a couple breaths, just keeping it long line of energy, and then you'll exhale to return to neutral. Second side, opposite arm, opposite leg. Remember, we're not just dumping into the chair, but we're lifting up and out of the chair, strengthening this base leg isometrically. Once again, the hips dialed down, big toe points to the floor. I like a flexion of the ankle, bicep to ear. And then just engage, right? Get that core starting to fire, lengthen. Now what you can do is go back and forth, kind of this breath movement idea, maybe 4 or 5 times, just to really get some space and length in the body. Then what we're going to do is take our hands on the chair, step back about hips distance, and find your modified downward facing dog. Wag a tail, maybe bicycle in and out of the knees and calves, stretch the upper body, just make everything feel good once again, then walking those feet back forward, and ragdoll rolling, coming to a rise, just kind of resetting everything, okay? Then for balance purposes, which is so important, just one hand on the chair, we're just going to do a nice high knee pull. Roll that ankle a couple times because we will be working on balancing, which is ankle stabilizers and the feet, all the low leg muscles. And then you can just turn and face the other way, or since I'm facing you guys, come to the other side of our chair, pull that knee up, and just outside the rib cage, just this nice little knee compression. Now you may be down here for flexibility purposes, that's okay. Remember, we're just starting to get that body to limber and open up. Then what we're going to do is come around and sit on our chair. Okay, we're going to take a nice wide stance. And we've done this in some of the other classes. It's a shoulder drop, and you're going to twist at the spine and look over opposing shoulder. You're pushing this leg external as you drop your shoulder head down, then twist the axis of the spine and look across the back shoulder. Do that a couple of times in each direction. Just make it feel good. You're getting a nice stretch across the groins, might feel some compression into the hip crease. You're getting that spinal column to activate, and you're just beginning to get the body to wake up for some harder movements coming up. Then you can do a really simple stand, we reach overhead and we sit. Okay, now does this seem sort of low level? Maybe, but maybe some mornings we just want to sit, we want to have good form. We can take that block and we can place it between the knees, and that really forces, see how my mind got all cockeyed? You don't want it to get cockeyed. You want to squeeze and stand and keep symmetry in the body. So this is just a little squat and reach. We sit back on our chair with control. We reach overhead for a good morning stretch. So just all the good stuff that wakes us up in the morning, we can do on a chair. Okay, you could be watching the news and doing this just over and over, maybe 10 to 15 repetitions, no big deal. Now what I love about the chair is then we can turn sideways. We can modify by placing our hands on one edge of the chair and popping our legs up. Oh, now we're in that boat pose. Let me get into a better angle for you guys to see. Now you don't have to use the chair, right? You can balance, you can be on the floor doing this, or you can have your hands back like we talked about. And we're gonna just do a little in and out, a little double crunch. So we're squeezing in from the abdominal core. We're starting to heat the tops of those thighs. The arms are behind us just to base us, and we're maybe just gonna do this 5 or 6 more times. Remember, ha, exhale every time you contract in toward the belly. We're getting a nice abdominal workout here. Again, you can have your arms forward, balancing on the tushy, and just drawing those legs and upper body closer toward one another. Again, maybe 15 reps, maybe 10 reps, maybe 20 reps. You're probably like, hey Chris, I'm ready to be done. I'm tired now. Set those little legs down. Give yourself a good morning stretch. Inhale, look up, stretch the front line of the neck. Exhale, chin to chest. And then maybe we come back behind. We take that interlace. We get a nice chest expansion. We go ear, shoulder, and now we're ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna start with a really basic arm exercise. You've got all your little toys around you. Now, if you have your block and you don't have your ring, grab a block. Blocks are awesome. If you have your ring, that's gonna just advance everything, right? So we're gonna pick up our dumbbells. We're gonna take that ring and we're gonna squeeze it in. We're gonna cinch it in so it's isometrically kind of becomes this little planner's peanut guy, right? And then we're just gonna start with a really basic bicep curl. So you're just seated, right? You're sitting on a bench at the gym and you're just doing a bicep curl, but we've added this isometric strength. So we're curling maybe 10 times, maybe 15 times. You choose your weight. You wanna make it a little harder, give it a little extra squeeze when you come to the top, right? Squeeze when you come to the top. So again, 10, 15, 20 reps, sitting tall, always thinking about our posture, feet planted on the floor, symmetry in the body. So that's your bicep curl with a basic ring squeeze and or just an isometric. Then we can take the ring. Now if you have your block, you don't need it here because it won't work the same. We're gonna take the ring on the outside edges of our knees, lower thighs kind of right above the knee. We're gonna sit really tall again. Now we're pushing out on that ring. So instead of squeezing in using the adductors, we're pushing out, which works those booties, which we love, and the abductors, which are the outer edges of the thighs. And then we're just gonna go into traditional shoulder press. So again, sitting tall, biceps kind of coming up to frame those ears. I'm not hiking up, right? I'm not rounding or doing funky form. I'm just right here. My chin's back in line with the rest of my spine. I'm not jutting anything forward, and we're just pressing, getting some heat in those shoulders. Now, if you have a shoulder injury, you're gonna come right here. That's gonna take away some of that duress that we get from having this big, wide open stance, right? And we just bring it right in here. Maybe you do one at a time because 2 is too many. There's always an option, you guys. There's always a modification. Okay, maybe we add the outward squeeze at the top so you really feel that booty working, right? So we're getting legs even though we're seated. We're taking it a little more gentle on the joints by sitting, but we're still getting outer hips. We just worked inner thighs. We stood up and we sat down. That was the full quadricep working. So really basic exercises can become more challenging just by adding 1 or 2 little things to them. So then we can get rid of that ring. Okay, we're gonna take our dumbbells, but now we only are gonna use 1 dumbbell. And we're gonna take that same idea of everything, the same exercises, but now we're gonna stand up, right? So now we're standing, we've got our little bit of balance. We're gonna bring 1 knee up. So now we're in a single leg tabletop pose. We've got a little bit of balance here, and we're just gonna do a lateral raise straight out to the side. Okay, so straight out to the side, lateral raise, just to the shoulder level, not higher, like you're lifting up a heavy bucket. Okay, now if that angle doesn't work for you, maybe bring it forward a little bit more. There's always an angle that will not hurt the shoulder, but still works the delts and that upper back. Now, you want to advance it? We go leg extension. Woo! So now we're kicking that front leg forward, and your leg doesn't need to be as high as mine, right? You might be down here. That's okay. This is about flexibility. See how tall I'm standing? Now, what I love about this is that you can do any upper body exercise, right? You can do a bicep curl. You can do a shoulder press. So this is where the design of the program starts to be fun. You can just mix it up. You can do 5 reps of one, 5 reps of the other, right? But really getting into the top of that thigh and really isometrically strengthening the other leg. Remember what we do on one side, we got to do on the other. I like to lift my inside leg because it's the side that I'm balancing from, all right? And just a finger feather touch here because we want to really utilize the strength in the body. Once again, just starting really basic, standing tall, doing that delt raise, maybe 5 times, maybe 10 times, remembering that we can do a shoulder press here, we can add in the leg extension. Just want to give you guys ideas of ways to advance your program, but also to back it way down. And maybe you're just right here with a bicep curl. Remember, we can change it to a hammer curl. So many variations of exercise to play with. I just want to give you the building blocks, the foundation, so you can start to design a program that you really enjoy. You should never be bored with your program. It should always be really fun and inventive and creative and really work the muscles that you're trying to work. So that's all your standing stuff. You can do it seated. And then I'm going to give you one more advanced exercise on the chair today, but we can take this anywhere we want to go, right? So remember at the very beginning, we were doing that spinal balance. So you're going to take your dumbbell in the hand that's not on the chair. You're going to lift the opposite leg of the hand that has the dumbbell, and we're going to do a wide row. Now notice I keep my body line nice, long, extended lines of energy. I pull my elbow out wide. That engages the oblique area. And I'm going to maybe twist a little to add that little extra, but really work on form here. Now maybe your leg's lower because you just can't keep it up, but really work on getting that back leg high. Same thing, do 10, 15 reps. You're going to switch sides. Remember, it's all about the alignment here, pulling that elbow wide. Maybe pulling the elbow wide doesn't work for you, so you're going to come right here in a narrow row. Okay, so right here, hop. It's going to work similar muscles, just a little different range, but maybe it takes it out of the upper trap. Maybe you have an injury. Just remember, there's always a place to go, right? So 10 or 15 on one side. Always while I'm talking, you move around, you play with this. This is for you to start learning and grow. It's not just this full exercise program. I want to give you guys ideas. Maybe you reach to the floor to get a little more of a single leg deadlift, and then you row, right? So we're engaging hip, we're engaging core, we've got our upper body going. Maybe you throw in a tricep kickback, right? So now I've worked all the muscles in my body. I worked a little bit of stomach, I'm working some core. Now I'm working that tricep. Remember what you do on one side, you gotta do on the other, right? Maybe I kick the leg a little higher. Now I'm bringing in booty, right? So always an advancement, you guys, always ways to play with your exercise. Maybe it's just a straight arm lift, okay? All the while holding that long line of energy. And again, maybe it's a row down to the floor to get that little thoracic rotation of the spine, okay? So you get a whole bunch of different ideas of things you can do with the chair. Now, I didn't even take us down to the floor. There's a whole nother level of abdominals that we can do on the floor. We can do push-ups on the chair. This is a really fun prop to use to just take some different exercises, create some different variations, some different ways to move the body. You guys, I'm going to be back off and on all week. I just want to keep peppering you with different ideas. Remember, these aren't necessarily you sit down and this is your workout for the day. I want to give you the opportunity to build your own program, but I want to give you proper form and function so that you know why you're doing it. And then again, as we advance, as we move through the year, then we'll start doing full workouts together. Then you'll be ready for the way I cue, for the way we build our bodies, the way we strengthen body, mind, and soul. You guys, always a pleasure. I'm honored to be your guide. Anything you need, reach out. It's Kristen Cowherd on YouTube. I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye.